Flip season is coming just a little bit early for the Oklahoma Sooners. It feels like it's getting here a little early, and the wide receiver room, of course, between a wide receiver, adding in wide receiver to the wide receiver room here in this 2026 class, and then also a defensive lineman on the radar for the Oklahoma Sooners. We're going to get to all of this here on Oklahoma Sooners Live. Welcome in. This is Oklahoma at the voice of college football, everybody. I'm your host, Josh Mahler. Make sure to join in on the live chat. And while I'm thinking about it as well, I'm going to drop in the call-in number on the YouTube live chat. So jump over to YouTube. If you're watching on X right now, jump over to YouTube. Do us a huge favor. Just jump over there. Watch the rest of the show with us over on YouTube. And we will be cutting the X live stream at around 7:15. That is usually our mark to cut that. Yeah, go ahead and jump over to YouTube. You can jump in the live chat. All donations and super chats will be read on the show tonight. Of course, follow the show on social media. You can find Oklahoma VOCFB on all social media, and then also the voice of college football as well, if you want to see more about college football in general, not just the Oklahoma Sooners. But we're going to get into it, a lot to get to. Of course, you can call in at any point during the show tonight, and I'm going to hit refresh right now as I'm thinking about it, because I know we've had some issues here recently in the past couple of weeks, and I see my timer clicking down and everything. So I think everything's good on the call-in today. So you guys feel free to call in. That number is right here at the bottom of the screen. That is 405-353-4535. Feel free to call in, and let's talk some Oklahoma Sooners. Guys, we are getting closer to game time. It's closer and closer to football in Norman. I'm extremely excited for us just to get the season under the way, especially for this show, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting tired of just trying to come up with predictions and all this. Today we have some big news we can talk about. Definitely some big news. It's not even predictions today. We are going to talk about a prediction that is made. And you know what? I'm going to start off with that just to get it out of the way, just because it's a guy that, I appreciate very much, and the work that he does. One of my favorite, I would say probably my favorite, just overall, my overall college football media people. I don't know what you want to call him. Josh Pate. Josh Pate came out with a big one today, and I feel like why not just go ahead and start off with this? Okay, Josh Pate came up with some big news and or big announcement today. I'll go ahead and play that for you guys real quick over here, because here's Josh Pate dropping some big news, and I think Oklahoma fans will really enjoy this.
I have an announcement, breaking news about John Mateer, Oklahoma quarterback, and sports betting. And the breaking news about John Mateer, Oklahoma quarterback, and sports betting has nothing to do with Venmo. It actually has nothing to do with him placing any bet. It has to do with the fact that I, Joshua D. Pate, have bet John, fill in the blank, don't know his middle name, Mateer, to win the Heisman Trophy this year. And I have placed a substantial amount of money on this.
All right, I'm just going to cut it short right there. Josh Pate dropping some big news here for Oklahoma fans. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. What do you think of Josh Pate and he has been on the record many times for stating several different, big time hype around John Mateer. I'm interested to hear what Oklahoma fans feel about this, because again, this feeds into getting closer and closer to football season. How, I think Oklahoma fans get excited when hearing about the national media, really excited about, what they have to say about Oklahoma. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, a couple of shows ago, whatever it was, that when we start to hear national media talk, it gets you excited. It gets your hopes up just a little too much. And that's what I don't like about it. But I do like the fact that national media is taking notice of the Oklahoma Sooners in this upcoming season. They've taken notice of what Oklahoma has done in the offseason, adding John Mateer, adding Ben Arbuckle, bringing in their quarterbacks coach with them as well. Coach K coming along with them. There's so much. And then, of course, Kevin Wilson being added to that offensive analyst role, and everything that he's been able to do and help out, hitting the transfer portal hard for positions that you really needed. So there's a lot when you dive into it, with what Oklahoma added, that the national media is taking notice. And again, I'm excited about it. I love to hear the national media talk about that, but it is a little nerve-wracking listening to the national media talk so much. I do love Josh Pate a lot. I respect his opinion a ton, and so obviously I love listening to him. Maybe throw a little cheddar on John Mateer, Heisman. I was looking it up real quick because he said he used FanDuel. I went on there, looked at FanDuel. FanDuel has it at plus 2,500, which means for just $10, he would win $250 if John Mateer were to win the Heisman. So if he's throwing a substantial amount, let's say that substantial amount is even just $100. I mean, he's pulling in a good $2,500 just from that. So a good chunk of money. I'm not encouraging anyone to do that. I think that would, man, I don't know. I don't personally like any kind of super future bets, big time, really high risk bets. It's not really high risk, but I did think that was quite interesting to hear Josh Pate announce that. So that was the first thing that I wanted to start us off with here on a very high note. We've also got some more high notes that I want to get to with recruiting starting to turn in Oklahoma's favor in some ways. I don't know if I should say it that way. Recruiting news anyways that we can get. But you know, Josh Pate bringing up John Mateer, though, he's got a point. He's got a point with it, you know, and he sees the good things in John Mateer that us as Oklahoma fans know that he's capable of doing. When you look at the game tape and you look at the film, you see what he's done on the field, but then you also recognize what is surrounding him. And there are tons of key pieces that he's basically upgraded what he's driving, and he's still got the same offensive coordinator. He's still got the same plays. And so, yeah, I do think that is an interesting take, man. Let's see if I can keep on talking as we go throughout the show tonight. But anyways, we're going to get to it again. Call in. I will make sure that I hit that refresh button a few times throughout the night, because I know we've had some issues on the call in the past couple of weeks. But please call in. That is 405-353-4535. We will get to the call-ins as we get to the show. All super chats and donations will be read live on the show tonight. So that is a way to secure your spot to be read on the show. And then, of course, for those watching on X, jump over to YouTube, because we will be cutting that live stream on X right around that 7:15 mark per usual. But let's get into it. Oklahoma starting flip season a little early here and trying to get their foot in the door on a few recruits that maybe they've missed out on in the past, or maybe they just got in a little too late. And that's definitely the case really on at least one of these. First, starting off with James Carrington, defensive lineman from Korean Lutheran High School out in California. I won't say Carolina, out in California, other coast. And he's officially decommitted from Florida State as of today, Thursday. And the buzz, it's all pointing towards Norman. Everything seems like Norman is the place that he's going to, and Oklahoma is trending on the right direction right now. I mean, for it's kind of the trending destination for the 6'2", 240 pound playmaker out there. This defensive lineman with James Carrington. He's rated as a 3-star on most, 4-star, I think, on one site. I don't remember which one that was. It might have been ESPN. I feel like they usually tend to rank certain players a little higher. Anyways, it's definitely a guy that has drawn a lot of attention. You can throw out the 3-star U stuff all you want. You can get frustrated with just being a 3-star. But obviously, Oklahoma has evaluated his game, and many other Power 4 teams have evaluated his game, including Florida State, and trying to get this guy in their door. Florida State secured that commitment, but now he is decommitted, looking to go elsewhere. I don't know exactly. I don't know the inside scoop on exactly what it is that would have actually caused him to decommit. I do think some obvious reasons in my head would say that, I mean, I don't think Florida State's on the right direction right now. I think they're kind of in some murky water, and it's going to be very tough for them to clear it up. But anyways, Oklahoma is making a push here for James Carrington as he decommitted. And, multiple sources are saying that the Sooners are in a very strong position here. In fact, Rivals already logged their forecast in favor of Oklahoma pulling in this commit from Carrington. I mean, that's pretty big. Usually Rivals is pretty spot on. They're not 100%. They're usually pretty spot on because they don't put those out. I think Rivals has been the best in the industry personally. about making sure that when they put that prediction out there, they wait till closer to time when they really have a strong inkling, or that a certain source has really tipped them off in that direction. Texas A&M is also another team that has been mentioned as a contender to get Carrington, but let's be real. It's right now the momentum is all leaning Crimson and Cream. It's all Crimson and Cream right now. Oklahoma is in the lead for this commitment, and a big one. This could be a big flip right now for Oklahoma if they were able to secure it, and then of course keep that commitment. Seems like today that's the tougher part of recruiting anymore. Remember, OU's class already kind of got a little bit of a boost, especially in that defensive line group on the edge position, with the commitment from Jake Krell, who's a 5-star by some and 4 by others. He's kind of that higher 4-star rating defensive edge. So, I mean, it's some big news for Oklahoma to get another guy to put up on the line if they could secure this commitment. Again, not getting ahead of ourselves and considering it a done deal just yet, just because Rivals put in their prediction doesn't mean it's a done deal. They, like I said, they're not 100%. But this does put Oklahoma's 2026 class with Jake Krell at 16 commits, ranking 21st nationally by Rivals. And, if Carrington joins, that could be the next piece to really help this class and take it up another level, take it up another notch. There's another recruit that Oklahoma is also trying to get, and I will get to that one in just a moment. But it doesn't really stop there, because, you think of where Oklahoma is at, even with another recruit that they're going after in T-Ron Richardson, the number 29 defensive lineman in the country out of Hopewell, Virginia. He's set to announce, I think, at the end of this month, if memory serves me correctly. And with Virginia Tech kind of being that main competition there, of course, from Virginia, you got to watch out for Virginia Tech pouncing in there and getting that commitment. But this really does feel like, getting Carrington in here really feels like it kind of secures that. If you lose one, you gain another. Maybe you get both. And obviously, Oklahoma is still pushing for both. And so as long as they can get both, I mean, this could be very big for Oklahoma. Carrington, by comparison, is ranked number 50th among defensive linemen in the Rivals industry rankings. So Sooner fans can definitely keep their eye on this one. This is one that I think will probably come out, man, I feel like pretty soon. And of course, by the end of this month, hearing, also about Richardson as well, the number 29 defenseman, defensive lineman in the country. Of course, the defensive line, you think of how deep it is and how great it has been under Brent Venables and what he's done. It's not going to be declining anytime soon. I think when you see big time recruits, guys that are being pulled in different directions, every which way, I mean, and Oklahoma is able to secure them, that's a very good sign for Oklahoma and their future of this defensive line, that they want to keep going. So definitely some good news there. And of course, with Brent Venables, it just seems like he might just get all the guys that he wants. And when it comes to defensive line, I mean, he's got a proven track record. He's able to pull them in with what this defensive line is and what it can be. Of course, Oklahoma fans, we will keep our eyes on this one. We'll keep you updated as that story develops here on the channel. Keeping my eyes on the call-in room, so please call in. Again, that phone number is 405-353-4535. Call in, and as soon as I see callers jump in that queue, I will try to get to those. Feel free to drop that in the chat as well. Hey, I'm calling right now. That way I can refresh, because like I said, we were having some technical issues with it, and I'm refreshing tonight, trying to keep that going as well. So bear with me as I try to host the show, talk about what I've got on the agenda, as well as trying to keep an eye on that and the live chat. I'm going to jump over to the live chat real quick. I see Chuck in here. Chuck is a resident. I see Chuck's comments quite a bit on the show. Chuck says, "Are you Parker Thune's son?" No, I think Parker and I are almost the same age. I don't know exactly what Parker's age is, but I'm pretty close. I'm pretty sure we're very close in age. And then I'll also jump over to the other one, because he mentioned Josh, talking about Josh Pate. Josh has a lot of money, and he doesn't mind losing to make a bold statement like that. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty bold. I mean, I think anytime you come out and make a Heisman prediction preseason, it's very bold. But anyways, for everybody watching on X, if you are watching the X live stream right now, please jump over to the YouTube live stream. We are going to be cutting the X live stream right now, because it is about that time of night. So we're going to be cutting that X live stream. So everybody over on X, jump over and join us on YouTube. You can jump in the live chat, also call in. I will be watching for call-ins in the queue tonight. Anyways, let's keep on rolling with it and get to some more live chats. Let's see here. Michael's in the chat. He said, what is the update on Andy Bass? Okay, I am going to be totally honest with you. I don't know. I haven't seen any updates. I will keep my eyes out for it 100%. But I haven't seen any updates. From all I know, Andy Bass is recovering. What was that? ACL, if I'm remembering correctly. So he's recovering. That's all I know with Andy Bass. It's going to be a little while before he really makes anything. I know Oklahoma fans want to see him on the field because of his physique, but I promise you, it's probably not coming just yet. Not this season. I wouldn't think so. And especially as deep as that room is. I just right now still recovering. That's all I know there. Believe and be safe today. Hey, I like that username. He says, I agree with Josh Pate, who really is looking better than John Mateer right now. Maybe two guys, if that. And that is an opinion. I think he has a great shot, and I think he can do it. Yeah, I mean, if John Mateer can do what we believe that he is capable of doing, why not? I mean, he has every bit of a reason to be there in that discussion. So, yeah, 100%. I think John Mateer seems like a good bet. I wouldn't call it too off the wall. It's not too crazy to think that he has a couple of really good games and just balls out and puts up some really good stats. And especially with the wide receiver room looking really good around him right now. Lots of big connections. I think I saw one on social media today from him to, was it Ivan Carry-On? I think it was him. I don't remember. I just remember seeing the video. One hand snag, just big time catch. Saw a couple of others. I think I saw one from Michael Hawkins delivering a dime, and I don't remember who it was that he was throwing to. But yeah, some really good clips out of fall camp. Really good news out of fall camp. We'll see if it comes to fruition. Of course, we're gonna hold off. We're not gonna get too pumped up just yet. We're gonna hold off and wait to see that actually come to the field come late August, the last weekend of August. Modern Day Caveman says Mateer will be fine as long as the O-line holds up. I agree. The offensive line controls so much, especially when it comes to the quarterback position, and we saw that last season. I know I have brought up Jackson Arnold probably more than you guys care to listen to on the show, but I do believe that Jackson Arnold would have had such a better season last year if the offensive line could have been healthy and good last season. That's not a bold statement at all, I don't think. How much better? I don't know. Sooner Cowboys backing me up, making sure I'm on the right track. He said, yeah, Carry-On got the one-handed TD catch. Big time catch, man. I love to see that kind of stuff. And, seeing guys play with that kind of aggression in fall camp and that kind of development that we're seeing from guys like Ivan Carry-On, some good stuff there. Been hearing a lot of good stuff out of fall camp. Again, that call-in number is open, so feel free to call in 405-353-4535. If you call in and you're hearing I'm nothing's going on, I'm not ever getting to it, nothing's going on, then please feel free to jump in that chat and let me know that you're trying to call in. Because again, I know that we're having technical issues last week for sure. I think the week before that we had slight issues, but not too bad of issues. So I'm refreshing over here, making sure I keep an eye on that queue. But we're going to go ahead and move on with the show. Braden Allen is another hot name in the portal right now. Currently one of the hottest names in the 2026 recruiting class because of the position that he's in. This wide receiver, Braden Allen, he's a kid that's been flying up everyone's boards right now. Seems like a lot are trying to get their foot in the door here on Braden Allen. And, his recruitment is really starting to heat up in a very big way. Now, Allen is currently committed to Tulane. I actually just reported on this this past weekend, if memory serves me correctly on the timeline. And, even though he's committed to Tulane, it hasn't really stopped some major programs from trying to knock on his door and try to steal that commitment from Tulane. And since his commitment, he picked up offers from teams like Colorado, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, a few others, but those are the big ones that have really been calling his name and trying to get that commitment flipped over to them. Now the big news that has dropped here in the last week or so is that I think just recently in the past couple of days that there's some official visits finally locked in with Braden Allen. So some big news there. One of those first stop is in Norman, Oklahoma on September 20th. Big game, big time atmosphere. That's a very good game to have a recruit like him come in. And it's going to be when the Sooners are taking on Auburn. So, of course, the return of Jackson Arnold, the electric atmosphere that is going to be, big time game, big time weekend for the Oklahoma Sooners as they host Braden Allen. Now, the following week, September 27th, he heads to Boulder to go to Colorado for Colorado's matchup against BYU. So let's first kind of break down the contenders. First, starting off with Oklahoma. Braden Allen visited Norman back in the spring. He absolutely loved it. That's what he says. And earlier this month, the Sooners wide receiver coach Emmett Jones extended the offer. And ever since, Jones and the assistant GM, Lake Dawson, have been all over him, trying to get him, trying to talk to him. And so, a lot of press to get him in the door. 1 second. I'm going to take a quick swig here. Back to it. All right. And, Braden Allen, he's mentioned several different sources that he really likes Oklahoma and how Oklahoma is recruiting him, quote, like they really want me. So, this is exactly what you want to hear as an Oklahoma fan. If you're a Sooners fan, you want to hear pressing for a kid like this. I know he's committed to Tulane. That's the first place that he went to, committed there. And all of a sudden, some bigger programs starting to call his name. Like I mentioned, Ole Miss, Colorado, Oklahoma, the three big ones. Over on the Colorado front, their offer came in July, and really the Buffaloes have been relentless ever since. I know Braden Allen has even mentioned that they have been the ones that have been pressing for his commitment the hardest since committing to Tulane out of anyone. Wide receivers coach Jason Phillips and the recruiter Corey Phillips have been quite frequent contact with him, sending over practice footage and all kinds of stuff and keeping in close contact with him. And of course, there's the Coach Prime factor as well. Deion Sanders, he's had a very, very much hands-on approach with Allen, trying to get him in the door. And, of course, that NFL experienced staff, they've got a bunch of NFL experienced guys in there that really catch Allen's attention. And so it's going to be hard for Oklahoma to pull this one in, but they're on the right track. And as long as they do their job on September 20th, and then, of course, it kind of depends a little bit about what's going to happen up in Boulder the very next weekend on September 27th. But, it really could be very good. And in fact, this would be his first ever trip to Boulder in September. So that's big news to know that he's been to Oklahoma. He knows a little bit about what's going on there. He already has some face-to-face connections there in Oklahoma. And then, of course, going there for the game, seeing the atmosphere, there's a lot there. So here's where things stand right now. Right now, Tulane has him committed on paper, but Oklahoma, Colorado kind of emerging as top contenders to try to flip him. So that flip season coming a little early. Oklahoma pressing very early for Braden Allen, trying to get that commitment from him. And, of course, with these official visits coming back-to-back the next few weeks, really the next month or so. Today's the 14th, so a little bit over a month and a half. Could really go a long way toward deciding where Braden Allen ultimately plays college football. And, of course, that's all that I've got on Braden Allen right now, but we'll be tracking every step of his recruitment as it unfolds. So, we will definitely be keeping close track on him. Let's see. I'm going to jump back over to the live chat again. I'm not seeing anybody in the caller queue, and if that's the case, then we could just end up closing up that caller queue for a little while. Anyways, let's jump over. I see Jimmy Satterfield in the chat. What's up, Jimmy? Let's see. He says, seems like he catches everything. Yeah, he's got strong hands, and I don't think he got the best of what he had to offer last season, obviously with everything going on around it, but kind of being thrown into the fire is not good for some players. Some players, it's just not gonna work well for you. But anyways, I'm trying to look through. I really didn't have too much more than that. I'm kind of relying on you guys calling in on Thursdays, guys. I know our viewer count has not been the greatest here on Thursdays, of course, probably because of the technical issues. You guys call in, and then I'm sitting here talking, and you guys are saying, "Hey, I'm calling in and can't get through to you." And if that keeps on happening too, then we will switch up the system and go back to our reliable system that we know is going to work. It's just not quite as simple to run through, but. Anyways, diving in real quick, we're going to kind of go off the cusp a little bit. I want to pull up. Here some things. I'll get it up. You guys go ahead and jump in the live chat. I know we're kind of at a slow point in the season right now. I mean, we're getting close. We're getting really close to the football season, and there's a few things I want to know from you guys. First, what are you most excited about throughout the season? What are you most excited about getting into the season? What are you most excited about maybe on game days? What's the part about getting back to football? Of course, football's on. We want to watch football. We want to cheer on the guys. But what more are you guys excited about specifically? I want to hear specifics. Is there any tailgating traditions, anything like that? Because I think I don't do a whole lot of just sit down, relax tailgating, and that's something that I think this year I'm going to try to find some places where I can just sit back, relax, and just have a relaxing tailgate. Fun, obviously, doing some stuff. But what's some of your guys' excitement around? It doesn't have to be tailgating related to, but anyways, wanted to talk one thing real quick. I know we kind of mentioned this a little bit about John Mateer. I think that was last week, might have been earlier this week, but we talked a little bit about John Mateer. But I want to dive in a little bit more. Like I mentioned a moment ago at the beginning of the show, Josh Pate throwing in his prediction for John Mateer to win Heisman. That's a bold prediction in my eyes. It is a bold prediction, but some things to look at with him. And of course, you can look at the film, you can see what he's done on the field, and you can question that all day. And I welcome those questions. I understand those question marks, but he does seem like he is a proven talent. But anyways, there's more than just what we see on the field with John Mateer. There's things that he does in the locker room that I think Oklahoma fans, we may not see it, one-on-one, see it with our eyes, but it's something that's talked about, and it's talked about with more than just the head coach with Brent Venables or even just Ben Arbuckle. We're hearing talks even from Bill Bedenbaugh, and I talked a lot about what Bill Bedenbaugh had to come to say to the media, but Bill Bedenbaugh was talking about John Mateer and his leadership and how he's getting going in the offensive line group. And he pops in there on offensive line meetings. He pops in there, he gets involved, and he's got that leadership that I think is extremely crucial for his position, for the quarterback position specifically. But then, of course, with him coming to a new school. John Mateer, he was able to come in and he saw an opportunity to come to Oklahoma, and of course, coming here with his offensive coordinator, then open it up. Like we mentioned, whenever he was at SEC Media Days, it opened it up to where he was able to focus on relationships with the guys around him, rather than having to focus on getting used to a new scheme, getting used to a new system, getting used to everything around him. He had to get used to some new things around him. There's a lot of new things when you move from a school like Washington State all the way up to Oklahoma. Oklahoma being realistic with it, Oklahoma is one of the top teams, in the nation. When you think of facilities and the campus life, the academics, everything that goes into Oklahoma, the stadium and everything that they pour into football specifically, there's a huge jump from Washington State to Oklahoma. So there was a lot to get used to, but when you're doing all of that and trying to learn a new system, there is a huge learning curve to all of that. And of course, trying to learn your guys, get the relationships, that becomes very hard. But for John Mateer, he didn't have to learn new system. He didn't have to learn all of that. And so, I think that's the most intriguing thing with the national media drawing attention to Oklahoma, and thinking about where they're heading this upcoming season. Because for Oklahoma, they come into a very unique situation where John Mateer was able to just focus on coming in. And John Mateer mentioned this a lot in SEC Media Days, how he felt very welcomed by the guys around him. And that they didn't just welcome him as a player, hey, welcome into our facilities, new guy, but they welcomed him in as a leader. And he was able to establish himself as a leader in many ways as their quarterback very early. And I think that's the biggest part to me that really stands out with John Mateer and seeing where he's at, is that leadership that he brings to the table is bar none. And you've heard that from a lot, but then of course with Bill Bedenbaugh, talking about it, he even talked about how there was a meeting that John Mateer came in on, and he didn't even know that John Mateer came in there and sat in on one of his meetings. He just came in, snuck in there, and Bill Bedenbaugh didn't even know that he was there. He looked up and he's just sitting there writing stuff down, listening and paying attention. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's really interesting, to see that. And I think to see Bill Bedenbaugh see how much John Mateer is popping in, that's something you don't hear much. And so the fact that John Mateer is able to kind of instill himself that way, get himself in the door there, and be able to become a leader that quick, that easy, very fun, very easy for him to be able to fit in. It was easy for him. I'm not saying that it was an easy task, but he made it look easy. That's the better way to put it. But anyways, that's really all I've got for you guys tonight. Again, we're going to be back live on Tuesday. And then again on Wednesday on SEC at the Voice of College Football with Blake and I. We had kind of rough connection issues. I was in a hotel room yesterday trying to do it from there on the road for work. And then, of course, with the show there on SEC at the Voice of College Football, it's me and then Blake Lane, Auburn at the Voice of College Football host. So we talk all things SEC. We're getting into a lot of predictions, all that fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe over there as well. I apologize. All of a sudden get that dry throat right towards the end here. But then, of course, next Thursday as well, live here on Oklahoma at the Voice of College Football. We're getting closer to college football season, so we'll have better things to talk about as we get closer to time. But, of course, appreciate everybody so much for tuning in. Appreciate all the love, all the support. We'll catch you next time. Boomer.